Hi guys, Hannah here. Welcome back to my model horse channel. Today I'm going to be doing my top 10 favorites Breyer stablemates. But before I get started, I just want to apologize for being absent on this channel for about a week now. I've been really busy this past week. It's been Christmas Eve. I've been spending time with family, friends, so I just haven't had a lot of time to film. And yeah, so I apologize for not being active on this channel, and I also haven't had much motivation to film model horse videos lately, but hopefully that changes soon. I have one more week off of school. Actually, it's a little bit less than a week off of school now, before I go back to school on Monday. Which I'm not looking forward to be honest. But yeah, let's get started with this video. So real quick, I do want to apologize for the very awkward lighting. It is currently very cloudy and gloomy outside, so the lighting is not the best coming through my window, so I do have to have my overhead light on, which is not ideal because it's very orange and makes everything look orange, so I do apologize for that. But let's get on with the video. So we're going to start with number 10, my 10th favorite in my stablemate collection. And this guy is my 10th favorite. His name is Caspian. He's on the thoroughbred gelding mold, and he has pinto markings, and he's like a light bay color, which I do love. Light bays are one of my favorite colors, as my personal horse is a bay. So I absolutely love this guy. I believe he was... Sorry, my dog is throwing a tantrum. But he is, I believe, from Walmart, one of the, Walmart singles, I believe. I don't remember, I've had him for a couple years now, I believe, so, I'm not really sure, where he was, but I'm pretty sure he's from Walmart. But I love his markings. He does have very crisp markings in some spots, and then in other spots they're not super crisp, like right here through his neck it's not super crisp, but then on his belly it's very crisp. And he did come with quite a few scratches from the box because he was the last one, and the box is kind of damaged a little bit, but that's okay because I don't show my models, so I was perfectly fine. So you can see he has a black dot on his stomach there and on his shoulder. Overall, though, this is one of my favorite stablemate molds, and it's one of my favorite colors, so he is in my top 10 favorite. So my 9th favorite Breyer stablemate is Storm. He is a leopard Appaloosa on the quarter horse mold, and I know this mold was originally a mare, but a long time ago when I first started collecting Breyer stablemates, I got a gray horse that was on this mold, and I made it a gelding, so it just stuck with me ever since. So now I have 5 horses on this mold, and they're all geldings. So this is Storm. He is my favorite on this mold. I absolutely love Breyer's Appaloosas because they're all so unique because they are hand painted. He does have some flaws, as he is one of my older horses. I've had him for quite a few years. And so he does have some scratches and some hoof rubs, but that's okay. I love his markings. I love his shading, especially his tail. His shading in his tail is really great. Of course, with this lighting, it doesn't really pick it up the greatest, but that's okay. And he does have a little bit of some, I don't know if it's like overspray or something, but he has like overspray or like a spot on his neck that wasn't really painted, which is kind of weird, but he's had it forever. But his leg markings, like his black points, are super duper shaded. I wish there was more shading on his chest and neck, but overall he's just a really nice horse. And yet again, one of my favorite molds as well. I have a conga of 5 on this mold. So my 8th favorite Breyer stablemate is Tiberius, or Ty, and he is on the Frisian Sport Horse mold, or Django mold, whatever you want to call it. Django was the Premier Club stablemate, I believe, was the first on this mold, so that's why it's called the Django mold. But it's also a Frisian Sport Horse is the breed, so I call it this Frisian Sport Horse mold. But this horse is not one of my favorites on this mold. He's in my top 10 because he's named after my real life horse, because his markings are very similar to my real life horse, and so is his coloring, just not the breed. My real horse is an Azteca, and this is a Frisian sport horse. But I actually do like the mold. It's okay. It's very skinny, which I find not true for a Frisian sport horse, because at my real life barn there are 2 Frisian sport horses, and they are very much built like draft horses in a way, and they're very wide, and this mold is super skinny compared to other models, so he does fall over quite a bunch, which is not ideal for having him on a shelf, but otherwise I do like him. I just wish he was built a little bit more like a Frisian sport horse. So my 7th favorite Breyer stablemate in my collection is Violet, and she is on the Cantering Warm Blood mold, which is my favorite of all favorites Breyer stablemate molds. I absolutely love this mold. 2 pieces. I have a conga of 4 currently, and I hope to get more in the future. But she is a bay roan color, I believe. And at the time when I got her, there was 3 other horses that were exactly like her. So I got to choose which variation I liked the best. And I liked this girl the best because she had the most roaning, and I love roans. They're one of my favorite coat colors. So here's a close-up of her roaning. The lighting is not doing her justice. Her roaning is gorgeous in real life. And here's her other side. This other side is not as good as the other side I just showed you guys, but her roaning goes all the way up to her neck. And her shading is just immaculate. I absolutely love this horse. Yeah, nothing much to say really about her that is bad. She does have a few scratches, but that's just from box rubs when I first got her, but she's one of my favorites. So my 6th favorite Breyer stablemate in my collection is Whisper, and she is on the Loping Quarter Horse Mare mold. She looks kind of yellow on camera, but that's just from the lighting. She's actually a really nice gray with a bunch of shading. And she's also flea bitten. I think you can see that on the camera a little bit, but not the greatest. Her shading is really good, but I think Breyer did get a little out of hand with her shading a little bit on her face. But otherwise, it's a really nice mold. I want to get more on this mold. I actually really like it. I believe this girl was from one of the Breyer blind bags from a couple years ago. I might be wrong, don't quote me on that, but yeah, there's nothing much to say about her. I just really love the mold, and I think this color looks amazing on the mold. So my 5th favorite is actually an older model. So this guy came out a little while ago, like maybe 2014 or 15, so probably about 5 or 6 years ago, maybe even 7 years ago. But he came in a pack of 12 horses, I believe, 10 or 12 horses, and I forgot what that set was called, but I got him when I first started collecting models, so it's been a while. But I've always kind of liked this guy. He's on the Dutch Warm Blood Stallion mold, and he's just a really good chestnut or sorrel, whatever you want to call it. He does have a lot of rubs and scratches, but that's just because I've had him for like 6 years. So yeah, and his name is Falcon. I don't think I ever said that, but he has a really cute stripe and a snip on his face, and he has a really good shading. And I absolutely love this guy, and he's an older mold, so I don't really like some of the older Breyer stablemate molds, but he is definitely one of my favorites. So my 4th favorite Breyer stablemate is Indigo, and he is on the Rearing Mustang mold. He's supposed to be rearing like this, but he doesn't fit in my camera frame, so I just have him standing like this. But he's a black Overo with a wide blaze, and I absolutely love Overos. They are one of my favorite paint patterns, and I just absolutely love this mold. He's the only one I have on this mold currently. but I do plan on getting more because I just absolutely love this mold. I used to hate it with a passion because it was rearing, and I've never really liked any of the rearing models, but once I got this guy, I just fell in love with him. And I believe he was a Breyer single that you could get at Walmart or something like that for like $3. I think so. I might be wrong. I don't remember entirely. But here's his other side. This side, his markings are like way prettier. Oops, I just knocked my camera over. But on this side, his markings are way prettier in my opinion. And he barely has any flaws, which is absolutely amazing. So now we are down to the top 3. So my third favorite Breyer Stalemate is Denver, and he is a newer mold. He's on the Lusitano mold, I believe, or Andalusian mold. I'm not sure which one it is. It's one of the Iberian horse breeds. But he is this really rich palomino color. And I will say I'm not a huge fan of the mold, but I do love this color, so it does make up for me not liking the mold a whole lot, because the mold actually doesn't stand up very well. Surprisingly, it is quite tipsy in my opinion, but one of his legs are pretty warped, can't talk, so he doesn't really stand the best, but this color is just super amazing. And this one, I don't actually remember where I got this guy from. I think it might have been from Walmart or Amazon. I'm not sure, but I think it might have been Walmart. But he has 2 back stalks, and then he has a really skinny stripe on his head. And I absolutely love this horse's color. Not so much the mold, but the color is just so rich. It's probably one of my favorite palomino colors. And I don't have many palominos because I don't really like Breyer's palominos too much, because sometimes they can be really orange, really yellow, which I mean is kind of how they're supposed to be. And then sometimes Breyer tries to add their like dapples on them, and it just doesn't really look good, but I absolutely love this guy. So my second favorite is Primrose, and she is a Leopard Appaloosa on the Cantering Warm Blood mold. Like I said previously with Violet, this is my all-time favorite Breyer mold, and she is one of my favorites on this mold. And I just love her shading. I love her Appaloosa markings. I just love everything about this horse. And she also has extra detailing in her eyes. She has the whites in her eyes, which not many Breyer Stalemates do. But she actually has the whites in her eyes. I'm sorry, I keep knocking my phone over while trying to film, which is horrible camera videography. So I do apologize for that as I knock it over again. But here's her other side. Absolutely love it. And she does look really dark on my camera right now because of the lighting. But she's a little bit lighter in person, which is amazing. And I had the pick between 2 of her, and I chose this one because of her shading was much better than the other one. So yeah, I just absolutely love this horse. So my first favorite Breyer Stalemates in my collection is Albion, and he is on the new Gypsy Vanner mold, which is a shrunken version of the traditional Gypsy Vanner model. I absolutely love this guy. I love the mold. I want to get the traditional Gypsy Vanner model because I just love the stablemate version, so why not get the traditional version? This guy has amazing shading, surprisingly. I don't really like his tail because the tip of his tail is actually really yellow. It looks worse on camera, but it's not that bad in person, but I'm just not a huge fan of it. But I absolutely just love this mold to pieces. As soon as I saw it come out in 2019, I believe, I knew I would have to get a horse on this mold because it's just to die for. I love the sassiness of it, and I think this flaxen chestnut color on him looks really good. I was afraid that it would be too plain, but Breyer actually put a lot of shading into this horse, so it makes up for the kind of boring color, I suppose. But yeah, he's just like my favorite, and I definitely want to start a conga on this mold. It's just some of the models are kind of hard to obtain because they're Premier Club models. But yeah, I just love this horse with a passion. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and comment down below some video suggestions you guys would like to see in the future. I do plan on continuing my river series as of right now. I currently don't have any new episodes, so I do need to rebuild the barn and film more episodes. But it's supposed to be really cloudy the next couple days, so I don't know if I'll be able to film the next few days because of the lighting will be horrible. But I do plan on continuing that, and I will let you guys know further if it's canceled or not. I don't want to cancel it, but it's kind of hard to film with how busy I've been recently, and then me going back to school in a couple days. But yeah, just let me know any video suggestions you guys would like to see, because I do need those, because I'm running short on video ideas that you guys want to see. And yeah, so comment, like, and subscribe down below, and I will see you guys all in my next video. Bye!